this is Vivica Williams, and you're watching Head to Head. Today, we want to take a look back at 2018 and discuss the biggest achievements and setbacks of sports in Ukraine. How successful were Ukrainian athletes in international tournaments? To talk more about that, we are joined in the studio by Pavlo Bulhak, advisor to the Minister of Youth and Sports of Ukraine. Pavlo, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Now, I definitely am one of the people who follows Ukrainian sports, and I can just see from what I know that it's been quite a successful year for Ukrainians.
Yes, I totally agree with you. It was quite a success for Ukrainian athletes in different sports fields, in Olympic sports, in non-Olympic sports, and at Paralympic sports. And numerous medals were won at international area. For example, if we are talking about Olympic sports, they have won more than 400 medals around the world, and more than 100 gold medals.
Oh, wow. Is this Olympic and Paralympics? Or?
No, it's only Olympic game. It's only Olympic sports. Athletes, Olympic athletes, yes.
And Paralympics also?
Paralympics also had a quite successful year. It was a great year for them. They have won more than 300 gold medals. Wow. And totally 800 medals at international competitions. And wow. If you're talking about non-Olympic sports, they have won more than 3,000 medals
in sports combined,
yes,
around tournaments.
Yes,
wow.
And more than 1,000 gold medals. Yes.
Wow, so this has been quite an impressive year. Let's talk specifically about achievements in Olympics and Paralympics. So what have been some of the most spectacular or maybe memorable moments in the Olympic sports this year?
As for me, the most memorable moment of this Winter Olympic Games at Korea, definitely it was our gold medalist Alexander Abramenko and his freestyle skying shot, and that shot was named one of the best shots. One of the best photo in the past year.
So there's a particular when he was skiing,
yes.
he made a pretty spectacular.
Yes, it was a photographer of New York Times, and it was named by this magazine one of the best sports photos of this year, 2018 year. And those emotions, those proudness for our country when Abramenko won his Olympic medal, it was great, it was unbelievable, and I will remember it all my life. And I would like to say that this is a historic medal for Ukrainian Winter Olympic sports, because Abramenko have won first medal as man at Winter Olympics, and first medal in his sports in freestyle skiing at the history of Ukraine.
Oh, wow. And so this was the first medal for Ukraine in this sport?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And what about Paralympics? They've really shined this year, the Paralympic athletes.
Yes, it was a great success for Paralympic athletes at the Paralympic Winter Games. They achieved third place due to the number of medals they have won, and we had great moments of them because they have won a lot of gold, silver, and bronze medals. So I think it was a quite successful, a great success for them, because there was a great struggle between different countries at this Paralympic Winter Games, and our athletes, they show their patriotism and their will to win for the flag and anthem of Ukraine.
And how do you explain such the great successes? What are we seeing here that shows this level of success and the reasons for it?
At sports in general,
or in the Olympics, the Paralympics specifically?
I think it's a great state support that they achieve, that they receive from government, because millions, hundreds of millions of hryvnias were invested at the preparation for this.
So this was
yes,
increase in the past. There's been more assistance to helping elite athletes be able to focus on preparing?
For example, if we are talking about Alexander Abramenko, we invested as ministry more than 20 millions of hryvnias to his preparation at to this competition. We bought him special staff, and he trained all around the world to master his freestyle sky jump. So this is a team result of him. Personally, he's very talented coach, Enver Blaev, and National Olympic Committee of Ukraine and Ministry of Youth and Sports of Ukraine. All we were working together and invested money and great amount of work to achieve this success for Ukraine. As the same history is for our Paralympic team, it's also great team efforts and state support, finance support of Ukrainian governments that were invested in this success and their preparations. Ministry paid them quite a lot of money, a lot of prize money, and at the first time they received the same money as Olympic athletes.
So this is wonderful, this equality between athletes.
This was initiative of our ministry, and that were supported by the government, and it is the act of equality, and it was a great special year for our Paralympic team because within the initiative of the Ministry of Youth and Sport, they received equal prize money from the state government as Olympic athletes.
So it created this equality finally between the different athletes.
Yes, I totally agree with you. It was a great act of equality for our athletes, and they received for their gold, silver and bronze medals that were won at Pyeongchang Winter Paralympic Games, $125,000 for the gold medal, $80,000 for silver medal, and $55,000 for the bronze medal.
Oh wow! So this really is not just an incentive, but it also helps athletes to be able to dedicate themselves to preparing and working.
Yes, it's great motivation for them, first of all.
So this has been a boon year for young athletes as well in Ukraine. We look at the youngest judo champion. This was Daria.
Yes, it was a great year for them. I should say that she's a world sensation at international sport. She's #1 in her weight category.
At 17, less than 18 years old.
And she is the most youngest world champions in the history of judo. So it's our great Olympic hope, and I only would like to thank Daria and her parents for this great success and those great moments.
And let's switch kind of our focus and talk a bit about boxing. Now, Ukraine has a great tradition when it comes to boxing. We know the Klitschko brothers dominated heavyweight boxing for decades. And now we're seeing also this year, it's been a great ride for Vasyl Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk.
Yes, Ukraine proved herself as a great boxing country, great boxing nation, and of course we are all proud of our boxers. We have four at current state. We have four boxing world champions.
But when we talk about, let's say, Lomachenko, he also won. He won the WBA belt. He won the BO as well, if I have that right. Championship. So he's been on the roll, as well as Usyk, who most people know, if they know anything about Ukrainian boxing from this year, they know, of course, these two. And they're both are in the running for Athlete of the Year as well, as I understand.
Yes, I think it was a great season for Alexander Usyk. He was named the Boxer of the Year, but as for myself, I like the style of Vasyl Lomachenko. His boxing. Yes, he's boxing with shadows, you know.
In his weight class.
Yes.
For their weight classes, for the way they work, they're definitely proving Ukraine can and will maintain its lead when it comes to boxing. And when we talk about tennis, there's no, we absolutely cannot not talk about sports with Ukraine and not talk about Elena Svitolina. So she has, I've been just watched with delight how she's progressed throughout the year, and she's ended the year as the #1 ranked player in the world.
She's moving to #1, but she won a great tournament this year, Final Four tournament, and I think this is a great example. As boxers and Elena Svitolina, all of them are a great example of professional sports development in Ukraine. So if we are talking about professional sports and amateur sports that is supported by government, so this professional sport is not supported by government, but it shows great result and international competitions, and I think that it's a great example for our athletes, how they can manage their career and find some sponsorships and develop themselves as international stars.
And what can we look at for next year? What can we maybe think to expect? What's Ukraine looking at improving, or how it's handling maybe the outflux of youth who are moving away from Ukraine, and just in general, the outlook for next year?
Mm-hmm. I think watching to our young generation of athletes and they were successful. We should remember that they were successful at Youth Olympic Games this year, and they have won more than 20 medals at this competition. So we should definitely watch the career development of our youngest athletes, Kate Chorny, Mikhailo Kochan, Yaroslava Moguchich, and Alina Shukh. All they, as I think, they are future of our sport, and I think that we should help them to develop themselves as successful, not young sportsmen, but oldest sportsmen. So
it's kind of a focus. We can see more of a focus on assisting young athletes, to giving them inspiration, to helping them have
and
the infrastructure.
All the government and non-government support that we have, we should invest in their future, because we have Summer Olympic Games at 2020 in Tokyo, in Japan. So I think that their development will gave them the opportunity to show their best at Summer Olympics in 2020, and some of them will definitely win a medal for Ukraine, as I think.
Thank you so much for being with us and telling us about what 2018 had and what we can look forward to in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Pavlo Bulhak, advisor to Ukraine's Minister of Youth and Sports. Thank you for watching Head to Head, and stay tuned with UATV for more.